Political marriages tend to be more complicated than most, but it's striking that the Trumps make so little effort to project a more united front.
Through the seemingly constant media coverage of Donald Trump, including reporting on alleged past affairs, Melania Trump has been mostly silent. This week, in a rare exception, she held a news conference, though it was tightly scripted and controlled.
Let us teach children the importance of all aspects of their well-being, which includes a social, emotional, and physical health.
It's a sharp contrast to her predecessor, Michelle Obama, who frequently gave interviews and made policy-laden speeches. And it makes it especially difficult for those tasked with reporting on a woman with one of the most prominent positions in American political life.
Oh, everybody's reading the tea leaves. You know, she's been very distant. Sometimes when new details are come out, she noticeably takes a different path.
Mary Jordan writes for The Washington Post and recently wrote about Melania Trump. She joins us from Washington. So, Mary, let's begin with the fact that you've got this remarkable contrast between a woman who's in a substantially high-profile position and yet maintains a very low profile. How do you cover someone like that?
Well, it's very hard. You know, she was pretty much invisible or silent for the whole first year. She didn't even move to the White House for 6 months after her husband went there. Now we're starting to see her, but it's almost always in a very controlled setting. She doesn't ever, you know, take questions from the media. She is the anti-Trump Trump. You know, he's kind of freewheeling, shoot from the hip, you never know. He doesn't seem to know when he's going to start talking to the media. That is not Melania Trump. In so many ways, she is the opposite of her husband. Just to begin with, that, you know, central part of his platform is that there's too many immigrants in the United States. And of course, 22 years ago, she came from Slovenia. She's an immigrant herself, and her parents are here.
I would say, Mary, that there is what seems to be a growing fascination with Melania Trump, something that exists now that wasn't there even 16 months ago. What do you think's driving that?
Higher visibility. As she gets out there a bit more, and she has, in the last few weeks, we've seen more of her than we did for the entire first year. She did very high-profile appearance solo at the funeral for former First Lady Barbara Bush. Then she had her first state dinner. Now she's had her first speech in the Rose Garden. And it's very interesting because as she is out there more, the polls are showing that her popularity is rising. And we hear that she's going to be much, you know, more present in the coming years. She's going to do trips. She's got this new initiative on children, looking at, of all things, online bullying is part of it. And of course, people are really amused by that because her husband is famous for lobbing insults on Twitter himself.
There are going to be people who say, look, you know, she didn't run for elected office. She is clearly a private person who's always maintained kind of a private life in spite of being a Trump. Why does she need to be covered? What would your answer to that be?
She doesn't need to do anything, but she has the opportunity to use one of the most high-profile platforms in America. She has a staff of 100 in the White House, and how she uses it will be very interesting. It's a quite powerful platform that we've seen. Former First Lady Barbara Bush, for instance, created the first national book festival and went around the country talking about books and kids' literacy. Michelle Obama started a whole movement on exercise and healthy eating. So Melania Trump, and I'm hearing this from her people close to her, her friends, realizes that this is a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity, and she's going to use it. All of a sudden, I think, you know, as one person said to me, you know, it's hard overnight to go from just being the wife of a rich businessman in New York to being the First Lady. So it's taking her a little while, but 16 months into the presidency, I think we're going to see more of Melania Trump publicly.
Mary, thanks for your time.